Hey there, in YouTube land, and welcome to Adventures in B Movies.
Yeah, there you go.
Like all this month, we will be doing some B Christmas films, and I'll be honest, this is more like a Z, but but we did it anyway. And To All a Good Night, starring Jennifer Runyon, Forrest Swanson, and a bunch of other people. This was directed by the late David Hess, who does a great job playing really kind of like the slimier characters in movies and stuff like that. And did she slide off?
Yes.
Cat top. Anyway, yeah.
Ooh,
This one, at the beginning of this movie, there are some girls running up the stairs. It looks like they're kind of running and having fun and stuff like that, and kind of like just randomly running. It just starts with girls running, and then one of the girls knocks a dummy off of the edge of.
She doesn't even knock though. She just backs up because she's scared of all of them, like running.
She's not scared. She doesn't even seem scared.
She just
It's like
she runs to the
they're just
balcony
all,
and they're like, oh, and a girl comes behind her and she's like, oh, ha ha ha.
And then this dummy falls off.
And the dummy falls off and they all look at the dummy in shock and horror. And then we go 2 years later and it's never mentioned again.
Yeah. Well, one thing I got to say right away is obviously they ripped off Prom Night in this scene.
Yeah.
They're taking from much better films, but we'll get into that. So then we see, well, we find out there's a card that comes up again. We forgot to mention that this is Kelvin's finishing school for girls.
Yeah.
Older girls, I'm guessing, and they
2
must be
years
all different ages because the lead actress seems way, way younger than every other female in the
2
film.
years in the future, by the way, is where our movie takes place.
Yes, the present.
Everybody's going away for quote-unquote Christmas.
And
And we get some girls who are staying behind to have a party with a bunch of guys.
did not that opening scene where they're all sitting around, doesn't it remind you of the opening of Black Christmas when all the girls are sitting around?
Yeah.
The new one of the new Black Christmas?
New Black Christmas.
Almost exactly like it. I mean, you can pretty much see, like, I could actually picture much better slightly better actresses sitting around this exact same scene.
Yeah.
First off, we are introduced to a bunch of actors. Of one, which is Jennifer Runyon, at a very young age, actually. She would go on to do much better things like Carnosaur and Charles in Charge and anything else other than
We
this.
got a full-on interview about it afterwards.
Oh yeah, she went through her entire career. We'll get into that later. Anyway, so this clumsily done opening sequence is not spoken about anymore till near the end of the film.
Yeah.
It is not used as any sort of example, except to give away who the killer is way, way too early in the film.
Yeah. The moment...
And you called that part right away.
I did, because I looked and I was like, hey, isn't that
well, we'll get to
isn't
that.
that a
in minutes.
thing? And I'm
Yeah.
like, oh, are we really doing that? Mind you, I called the twist, too, as a joke.
The twist. Yeah, or the second twist.
The second twist. Which
Yes,
was,
but that was a joke. You did not mean that.
Yeah, no, that was like, I was like, oh, wouldn't that be funny? And then
Anyway,
it
we got
happened.
to tell people what's going on here.
Yeah.
So the movie is about these. Okay, the house mother that's supposed to be there isn't there. The secondary house mother is there, the one that does the cooking.
Yeah.
So knowing that the other ones aren't going to be there, they decide to call in some rich boyfriends who can fly a plane in.
On their the landing strip near their freaking place? I don't know what that was. They just landed like right next to the house.
Yes, it's dude. Don't you know you can randomly take a plane in last minute and just fly it
And to land anywhere.
and
man.
wear Santa Claus outfits?
Yeah. Obviously.
And you don't need a schedule flight plan or anything like that. You don't need to let anybody know that you're landing.
And you're landing in nowhere.
Yeah, it's just this happens all the time, especially when you're next to what is supposed to be an affluent boarding school.
Yeah.
So I'm guessing nobody would find that strange at all. So anyway, these are the oldest facts of life's girls ever. They decide that that night they are going to drug the milk of the house mother and have a party. So they introduced this English actress who was very sexy,
Yeah.
extremely sexy.
She speaks only in forced dialogue.
Oh my god, that is so true. And she is like pretty much her and one other girl is the sex pots of the film. We watch this movie and right away I'm thinking, if this movie has nothing else, it has the English girl, and I want to see her naked.
Man.
That was
Yeah.
pretty much like when you think, oh my god, if this movie doesn't have anything else in it, this nudity is going to be awesome. Except they kill her off first.
Yeah, they do.
They totally kill her off first. There's a lot of
Absolutely.
spoilers all over this thing, by the way.
She's one of the many kitchen victims.
Yes, she is. For some reason, the killer who dressed up as Santa, that is
For no
not
reason,
explained.
by the way. There's nothing that like relates to. It's Christmas time, sure, but as far as we know, the girl who died at the beginning didn't die anytime near Christmas because it's never mentioned.
And another, well, it could be because one of them had a Santa beard on, and one of them was carrying an axe.
Maybe, but that still wasn't credit wearing Santa suit. And also, none of them, like, Santa had nothing to do with the death. Also, it's not snowing. And the most you can tell from it being Christmas is a couple lights.
I will assume it's Florida or something like that.
Yeah,
I'm not sure where it's at. Anyway, by the way, guys, so we're, at this point, me and Matt are watching. We're saying, okay, this movie's going to be set over that night, and everybody's going to get killed off, and there's going to be a big reveal at the end type of thing.
No, not really.
Yes, you were.
We were, but that's not what happened.
That's not at all what happened. No, actually, a couple people get killed, and all of a sudden it's daytime, and we're like, "What? How many people got killed that night? 4?
That was like 4 of the possible, like, 6.
Yeah. So here we are. No, 8. I
mean,
know they're
some of those
forgettable,
people-
but there's 8.
Is there 8?
4 girls, 4 girls.
Yeah, you're right.
And
And they introduce another 2 people
Oh yes, we'll get to that.
afterwards, like 90 minutes. Or, no, sorry,
Speaking of which, did
6 minutes.
both of the cops die? Because I don't remember seeing the other
Yeah.
cop. I messed
The other
up.
cop, one cop got leisurely stabbed in the face with an axe, and the other one just.
Oh my
came
god,
out
that's
and was-
why. Okay. Anyway, so all of a sudden, there's this dude, and his name is Fast Ralph.
Yeah,
Ralph is supposed we know what movie he's being taken from.
yeah.
Ralph, guys, Ralph.
Yeah.
He's called Ralph.
he's the red herring.
Yeah, literally, he's wearing red. He is
Yeah.
the red herring. His red herringness is even more obvious than the giant lobsters red
Yeah.
over right there. And you know what?
He's not very scary.
He's not scary at
He's
all.
pretty
So
kind.
yeah,
So there's a really weird scene.
he turns into a Mormon almost.
Yeah, like
Whatever-
there's a
whatever
scene where
movie.
he comes in. He's like,
He
oh,
comes
there's
into
something
the-
bad. It's terrible happening around here. I can feel it. I'm a man of the land. I know what's going on.
So you
and it's
kind of
like,
think
oh,
he's going to
he's
be
like-
like the
he's gonna be like
survival
the-
type guy.
Yeah, like survival, like sort of like the I know what's happening. I can help you guys.
And at that
and
point,
then yeah,
he goes to reach for something, and I'm thinking at
Yeah.
the point, I don't know about you, I think he's going to give her like a weapon or something to protect herself, or
Yeah.
even like I don't know, even a cross or some kind of like thing.
something he
over
found maybe.
there. Yeah,
He's like, this is why I found this on the ground. Someone's here. He pulls out a Bible
yeah.
and he hands it to him. He says, "Pray, pray, so the devil might not take you as one of his own." And
Seriously, it's like all of a sudden, it's like, well, I'm here today to can I tell you about my Lord and Savior?
which leads into like my favorite line in the entire movie.
Which I have to mention something. There is a scene with the Santa killer, and that Santa killer is sharpening a pair of hedge clippers,
That never
which are
happens.
never used in the
I
movie.
feel like there was a cut scene because Ralph's character does die immediately afterwards. By the way, where she used that on him or something.
Is there a cut sequence here?
Because like
it doesn't say there's any cutscenes. It just says there's some.
Well, I mean, there's no cutscenes on here. It might have been in like on the cutting room floor or something.
I'm surprised.
But
Oh, by the way, another thing. This movie goes jarringly from scene to scene. You do not know what's going on. I mean, we are not doing a good description of this because it's really hard to do.
It is. It feels really long too.
And the things that it's only 90 minutes long. And here's the thing: the 3 girls come up with 3 boyfriends, and one girl actually says, "This is the guy that I'm going to marry," because he's rich and he's not bad in bed. He's not the best, but he's not bad. So later on, she has sex with a cop that's gay and about 50, and it makes no sense. Where did the cops come from? Oh, we're getting there. The crazy Ralph character. Oh, I'm sorry. The fast Ralph character dies.
Yeah,
Oh,
and they find his body because
And there's
do.
a sequence that goes kind of like this. So imagine I'm the house mother and I've just given them food.
Yeah.
So ask me the obvious question that was asked then.
Oh God, I forget what the question was.
Did I
What? Oh, did you sleep well last night?
yes. I slept fine.
It was kind of like this, actually, in a way. Did you sleep well last night? Oh, yes.
Yes.
I slept well.
Very well. I am totally
I
not
want-
the killer.
So, we mentioned I called it early on in the film. One of the things that's like jarring is that one of the early scenes is you go to her room and she's got a picture of the girl who died.
Yeah,
And
literally there.
Just in case you're like, oh, well, you wouldn't know because like the girl died. You only saw for a second. There's a scene a few minutes earlier where you see a list of something. Like the killer's got a list
And he has a
and
picture
that
of the girl.
exact same picture.
That exact
and then it
picture.
shows like a flash of the girl who fell off the balcony at the beginning to show that that's the girl.
And then we see the picture, and it's not like it's just for a second. Jennifer Runyon's character goes to the room to give them out, and they linger on the picture.
Yeah, it's like
They
solidly
linger
in
on
the
it.
background.
It's like
It's right behind the main character.
remember Student Bodies, the movie
Yeah.
Well, in Student Bodies, every once in a while, for a joke, he would have this big like arrow that would come down, and like there'd be a body count. And there'd be like it would like show you
Yeah.
things like unlocked door and stuff like that. This is like one of those things where there'd be like a big red arrow that'd be saying, clue, clue, clue,
Yeah.
clue type of thing. So obviously we know that the killer is really inept, but they want to throw in another twist. Anyway, the people get killed. Everybody hooks up with everybody
That's true.
because nobody can stay with one person.
For more than 5 seconds.
And there's no consistent. We spoke this about another movie as well with consistency.
Yeah.
There's none in this one either.
You know what's funny?
What?
While you were talking, all I could think about was, whatever happened to that one girl who came in at the beginning for no reason?
Which one?
The one who I'm gonna die because I have a heart condition. Why are you here? Well, the girls are 5 feet away from them with these rich bitches. You should come and you should just retire and stuff.
Oh yes,
What was the point of that character?
Nothing except to say that they were rich. That was the thing. They
I
had
think
this
we would have known
character
that by the
came in.
plane coming down with her boyfriends.
Yeah, this character came in who brought in, I don't know, a present of fish or something.
Something. It was just like a wrapped up something. He said, put it in the fridge.
It was wrapped up in
bow
like
on it.
a
tinfoil.
tinfoil wrap with a bow on it. We never find out what it is.
She never comes back. She doesn't die. Nothing happens to her.
Yeah, we kind of want to see her die 'cause she's kind of bitchy.
She is.
She's probably the most bitchy character. Here's the thing: these girls that are supposed to be pretty much bitches in the film,
They're not really.
they're
into
not
that.
really, and even the guys aren't really that bad as
No.
characters. Nobody seems to want it like a murder, and not only that, but nobody even the murder reason itself doesn't seem to be legitimate.
Yeah.
It's obviously that the girl had fell off by accident, but they throw in something randomly at the end of the movie saying that you gave her drugs. We have no idea where this came from. There is
Funnily
no
enough,
setup
neither
for
does
that.
the main character who states openly, they're like 2 years ago she died, and the main character's like, this is my first year here. I don't know what you're talking about.
So yes, so the main character is almost like the audience, like in the fact that she'll say things like, "This makes no sense.
Yeah.
This is boring. I don't like this." And we're saying we are on
That's-
board with you.
Yeah,
we totally agree with you.
Spot on, right there.
And great job. Encyclopedia Brown is in this movie. There's a blonde-haired dude that's I guess he's a geeky guy because they show him off as a geeky guy at the beginning, but then he has sex with this really hot girl.
Who does that? Because
And then he, after having sex with her, he ends up with the other girl who's a star who you kind of knew he was going to be with in the first place. It just
clumsy,
flips and
right?
flops all over the place.
Yeah.
And the editing in this movie is atrocious.
Yeah.
The editing and the music is horrible.
There's one kill I remember. I forget what kill it was, but it goes it shows the girl being killed, and then stops for a second on a still of that image, and then switches to the next scene.
Yeah, I know.
All of a sudden,
There's a couple freeze frames in this movie. I expected to see this movie end with one of these Star Trek laughs.
what was the part where everything suddenly went red
Yeah,
out of nowhere?
that was the ending, wasn't
No, that wasn't the
No,
ending.
it
It was halfway through.
it? Oh yeah, someone goes to the next day.
Oh, that's right. Was it when it goes to the next?
Yeah,
day?
it was when it goes to the
Okay.
Anyway, if this review is confusing you, this movie was confusing us. Basically, so near the end of the movie, the final girl's boyfriend runs out on her. Literally, he runs out of the house on her, and he just disappears.
One girl goes crazy for no reason.
Oh yeah,
Like literally no reason. The killer takes off their mask, and we know who the killer is because you guys do too, right now because it's obvious. It's the older lady.
But
she
we gotta
takes off
tell
the
you,
mask.
and then
We don't get to see it. And then the other girl goes crazy and starts dancing in the only creepy scene in the entire film.
Yeah, and by the way, she's really creepy. This girl is actually a pretty good actress.
Reminds me
gotta be honest
of
with you.
Evil Dead.
It does remind me of it in that way. Well, there's halfway through the movie, they introduce 3 cops. Basically, the character of Fast Ralph dies, and basically the cops come and investigate. We are again like thrown for a loop because, okay, I guess then the killer's going to keep killing these people until the movie ends, and no, then all of a sudden we had to introduce these cops. So this lead cop comes in.
Spend a day of them wondering if there's a killer.
Ugliest plaid coat I've ever seen in my entire life.
With his Brooklyn accent and all that. He comes in, he's basically like, I'm going to take care of things. This is going to be good.
Best hilarious scene throughout the entire movie.
Oh, yeah.
Brooklyn turned Shakespeare. I'm calling this Brooklyn turned Shakespeare. So basically, they're there, and he's got this Brooklyn accent. He's really overbearing and stuff like this. The young girl, the star of it, she just starts like crying and freaking out and blaming herself.
Because she, as I mentioned, the whole
the
church scene, the friggin' preacher scene where he comes in and he's like, pray. And she said she blames herself because she didn't listen to him.
She said, I didn't pray at all. And he's like this guy that's gone from this like screaming Brooklyn dude to all of a sudden it's like, hey.
Yeah, he goes, and then he touches her chin,
Yes, he literally.
Can you see the future? Can you foretell what is to come? And she's like, no. And he's like, then do not blame yourself. There's nothing you could have done.
It
not worry.
Randomly comes out of nowhere and it makes no sense. It's like he has a totally different accent. The scene is.
It's a full minute of him touching her chin and then just being like, do not worry, my people will be here and I will protect you. No one will hurt you.
Alas, Horatio. I knew him well. I knew you. He's a man. He's a man of the West. It just makes no sense. This whole movie makes no sense at all. And at the end, it makes perfectly logical, crazy-ass sense.
Not at all.
But both it does and it doesn't. It is so straightforward that it's almost not straightforward.
I want to spoil the ending.
The character... Oh, well, I'm totally spoiling
because
the ending.
That ending, the death of the killer is just... The whole reason that she was the killer, by the way, because the stuff in the middle doesn't matter. Honestly, it's just terrible edits and terrible effects and not creepy scenes.
And horrible deaths.
And but
she can actually lackadaisically do an thing like this, and it will go straight through the head because that's the way it works in reality.
So, girl's gone crazy. She reveals it's her, and you find out that the girl who died at the beginning was her daughter, just as I called really early on when we were like, yeah, it's probably her. Because I was like, oh, you know what movie this hasn't taken from yet? Friday the 13th.
Except for Crazy Road.
Yeah, that's true. That took that too. But she even does the whole "my baby, you killed my baby" thing.
I expected her to do the voice thing out of that one.
Yeah,
and she looks like her a lot too. Yeah. She actually looks like that character.
So she chases her around for a bit. They go up to the room where the girl died on the balcony.
Yeah, exact same balcony.
The exact same balcony.
The tiniest fucking balcony in the world. Thank you very much.
Yeah, we get a flashback to the girl, the girl dying at the beginning. We cut out of the flashback,
and the girl's
body is replaced with the killer. The killer at some point during the flashback. I guess the flashback was too hard and it killed her.
Yeah, she literally falls to her death during a flashback off screen.
So we don't get to see it. She just suddenly dies.
We don't see the killer. And this is hilarious. I mean, that's why I'm watching movie maps. What happened? I'm like, the flashback killed her, knocked her off the balcony. But
then things get even more jarring.
Because
earlier on, I was we were just sitting around, and I joked because we do a lot of joking throughout watching these films. I was like, wouldn't it be funny if the Brooklyn cop was the killer instead of the obvious mother? Another Santa Claus picks up the body of the one downstairs, comes up, puts the killer down, takes off his mask, and he's like, "You killed my wife and my daughter.
It's the Brooklyn
I
cop.
should have killed you first."
Guy.
It's the Brooklyn cop guy.
Yeah, I should. And then all of a sudden, her boyfriend that ran out
Yeah,
into the
like
night shows up with a crossbow and shoots the guy and kills him. And it's
and then he comes down. He's like, "I'm sorry, I panicked. I just had to go do some other stuff for a while." And they they run out. They're like, "What about the crazy girl in the house?" And they're like,
we'll come back and
we'll
get
come
her.
back for her later. We'll deal with that." They stop for like a minute.
Which is
and
the
then just
smartest
leave.
thing that's said in the entire film.
And then she dances more for no reason. And that's the movie.
That is to
That's the film.
all good night. By the way, there's an interview with Jennifer Runyon at the end of this movie. And if you know Jennifer Runyon, she retired right after she made the movie Carnosaur. She married the nephew of Roger Corman.
Yeah.
And that was the last movie she did. She had kids, and then she became like a teacher, I think she said, right?
Thanks, sorry.
She teaches people to survive movies like this. No, and she goes through entire. Basically, they ask her about every single film she did.
Yeah, it was a
But-
weird interview.
But I liked it. I really did.
It does like throw you for a loop though when you're like, oh, she's gonna do an interview about the movie,
Yeah.
and then it gets to the end of the movie and then the words Ghostbuster comes up, and then she explains how she was in like the first scene of like one of the early scenes of Ghostbusters.
But it kind of makes sense because this was a Scorpion releasing film first. Scorpion releasing put this out on DVD.
Yeah.
And if you ever seen any Scorpion releasings interviews, they're pretty jarring. I mean,
Yeah.
you have the Katrina girl that was in wrestling,
Mm.
played like Winter or something like that in TNA. And it seems like she's not doing a great interview, but it's just the way that they kind of like they do these. But that being said, I really did enjoy the interview. I like the fact that he went through all her movies. I'm a really big fan of Jennifer Onions. I think she still looks beautiful today.
Yeah.
Maybe more so even than she did back then. And that being said, To All a Good Night, what do you think?
Oh man, that was a weird freaking film. It wasn't very good either. It's funny. It's hilarious.
Actually, you know what? I am awarding this our first Adventures in B movie award.
Is it? Do we have awards now?
We were giving an award. Well, come on. If Soap Opera Digest can do the best of the end of the year, and then
Okay.
movies
Okay.
can do their like end of the year things.
Sure,
That
okay.
Video games did. This here is getting my B movie Ed Wood / Troll 2 Appreciation Award. Because this is that hilarious. Have you seen Troll 2 and the unintentional hilarity that's in this? Well, prepare yourself for more unintentional hilarity throughout the entirety of this film.
I'd also like to give that an award, by the way.
Go for it.
Award for the least attempts to make a DVD menu of all time.
Oh my God!
Yeah.
You gotta mention that.
I knew I had to bring that in. I've been thinking about that since the beginning of this interview.
This is
You like
Blu-ray
this
too, by the way.
image?
You better like it.
Do you like the size of this image as well? Because that's the menu. Just like a straight down this, black on both sides, massive things of black, I think, or gray maybe.
Right, yeah.
And then like what appears to be like Windows 95, like buttons.
It is horrible.
It's pretty awful.
The menu for this is horrible. There's not even any music or anything playing. Thank God, actually, considering the music that's in this movie.
It's
Maybe that was
pretty
like
awful.
a sweet release for us. But yeah, there's even the way this is made is pretty inept.
Yeah.
But this is going to be a Christmas classic for us.
Oh God, yeah.
This is definitely an every year Christmas thing. There are lines throughout this movie that are entirely quotable, along with the Troll 2 room lines. There are
They almost
quotable
all
lines.
come from the British girl at the beginning.
But you know, there's so many good like bad things in this movie.
Yeah.
There's some performances that are questionable. The directing, David Hess, I'm sorry, you did some great jobs playing Krug and characters like that. But man, oh man, the behind the camera, no, front of the camera, yes. I don't know if this movie wants to be Prom Night, Black Christmas, or
Anything you get its hands on, apparently.
yeah, it just takes from many different films and doesn't take from them well. See this image here? I have no clue what this means to anything. What is that?
I have no idea.
Yeah.
Also,
Is that because that's not a Santa face, so we know it's not that. And no aliens
unless
came
it's
down in
supposed
this
to be the
film.
old lady's face herself, which wouldn't make any sense. It would spoil the entire movie.
It would. Kind of looks like what her face looks like now.
Yeah.
But honestly, that wouldn't be making
You'll
sense either.
scream till dawn.
Yeah, you will scream with
Probably will.
laughter to time. And another thing, you kind of expect aliens at the point that you see this.
Yeah,
this
actually, it's
like,
very
it's
like
very alienish.
it's very like sci-fi looking.
Got some. The killer's is so inept, and by the way, to do the two killer thing here, like we just mentioned before.
Yeah.
So, it out screams Scream in that way.
Yeah.
It had the two killer thing.
But it's
It
like
had the
not
klutzy killer.
important.
But no, it is actually, because when you think about it, Scream has two killers.
Yeah.
Scream has two killers that are klutzy.
Yeah.
Because they're inexperienced killers,
Yeah.
and the way they show that is by showing their inexperience when they're killing people. This
But
one here has that, except
it's not
it makes
supposed to be
one
that.
boo boo, because if it was the girl that was killing everybody, I would totally get that. But the other guy that's killing them is a Brooklyn high-level police officer
Yeah.
that has obviously been trained in doing, and
Yeah, but at the same time, it doesn't seem like she was supposed to be inept. It seemed like literally they just made it an act.
well,
Like
the movie itself.
sometimes she was like in trees with like the weird thing.
Well, that's
What
because
was
we
that,
have
by
to
the way?
Oh.
Where did she get the long fish wire like hook thing that she hit up into a tree like a ninja with? That was hilarious.
That was one of the hints, Matt, that there was a second killer.
I guess. I mean,
That's why we see the killer kind of in two places at once. And at first it seems like it's just an inept sequence of having the killer in two places at once, which it kind of is.
in a way,
but-
actually, we don't, because I called it on that. I was like, if the killer ends up outside, that's gonna be bullshit because they're inside.
Yes,
But there's a significant amount of time where the person could go out.
But the thing is still that this movie is so not well done
No.
that you can forgive it having the killer in two places at once,
Oh,
because
completely.
you're probably thinking,
It's like,
hey, this person isn't exactly making quality filmmaking here in the first place.
I feel
But,
like the
yes,
way
there's a scene where there's the killer up in
Right.
she's making out with this really hot girl. This guy's and
it's hilarious. She's making out with really like this guy.
this guy.
She's making out with this guy. The girl, they're like guy and girl are making out. They like talk about something. They're like about to get into business. At this point in time, you can see coming down from the top of the screen something. At the moment I saw that, I was like, "Oh, what's this? What are we doing?" It goes around his neck. We cut up to the tree, like way up in the tree. She's got two like wooden things. The killer does,
Yeah.
and he starts pulling. And he goes, "Oh!" And he starts being pulled back.
It's like Pinocchio. It really is. It's a Pinocchio murder.
It was like
Buy this movie.
it's hilarious.
For that scene alone, buy this movie. Buy this Pinocchio
Remember
murder movie.
Do you remember that scene from Friday the 13th Part 2 where like Crazy Ralph dies and everyone's like, how did he get his
Yeah,
hands over the
because
tree?
you would literally have to
Apparently,
elongate a man to do it.
he was using the thing. The really long fishnet thing. Like the fish rope
Except
thing.
this was before how Friday the 13th 2 came out.
That's true. That's why I think, like, I guess Jason borrowed it from her. He threw it up over the tree and then ran a mile backwards.
I think it's okay. We know that Friday the 13th 2 borrowed a crap load from Bay of Blood. Do we
Yeah.
really want to think that it borrowed from All Good Night as
Oh,
well?
no.
That is such a bad, sad thought. We love this movie.
It was...
It has we got to give this a B movie rating.
Yeah, we do.
Okay, as a B movie, I do not grade this as a B movie. I'm grading this as a Z movie because it's that, and it's a 10 out of 10.
10 out of 10.
You will definitely get a kick out of this movie if you like bad movies. If you like movies that make no sense. If you like if you like BTs with really hot girls who you're not going to see naked, but you don't worry, you will see nudity. There is nudity in the film, so you get your
Not a lot, weirdly.
No,
but,
yeah, it is odd.
and not from the people you'd think.
And from the guy that acted in Last House on the Left, it's really, really reined in and
Yeah.
not as much sleaze as you would
Yeah.
expect. Actually, there's really no sleaze at all. But all the characters are likable. I can't say that the acting in it was totally bad, because it
No.
wasn't, but the directing was so bad and the script was so horrible,
Yeah.
and the editing is so atrocious that you can't help but love this movie if you like bad films,
Yeah,
because
it's true.
this is really bad. There were several times we riffed throughout the entire movie. Honestly, I was watching this movie, we're making comments, and I was like, we totally could have podcasted this movie.
Yeah.
Would have been fantastic. Yeah, it's a 10 out of 10 for me. This gets 10.
10. Oh, man. What? 10 glasses
10
of
killer.
milk.
No. 10 glasses of milk. Milk is used like If you drink milk in this movie, you live. Milk.
Yeah.
It's the greatest milk commercial ever.
You're having like wine glasses of milk and stuff like that.
10 killer flashbacks out of 10.
Oh. Yeah, definitely 10 glasses of milk out of 10. 10 solid kitchen killers. I feel like that's the way it worked. Like, one of them was roaming around the house killing someone else. One of them stays in the kitchen waiting.
I'm going to wait here in the kitchen.
I'll take the kitchen. You take everyone else.
Okay, so
Right.
this movie is...
It's bad, but it's fun. It's fun bad.
Watch it. It will be a Christmas classic. If you're a bad B movie fan like us, well, you probably are, because if you are one of the few people that is watching the Adventures in B movie, thanks for following this series. We really have a lot of fun with this one, and we don't. It doesn't really matter how many people watch it, because this is something we're going to do because we enjoy it. I'm not sure which bad Christmas movie's next, but it's definitely going to be something.
Yeah.
Now, to all good night to each and every one of you.
Yeah.
Good night from the giant lobster head up there, and for me, I need to get some tea because I think I might actually watch another movie before I go to sleep tonight. You want to?
Yeah.
And for you,
he just came and he started like preaching religion or something, and I didn't pray at all.
can you tell the future?
Can you tell the future, girl?
I love that he does this first. Like, he actually makes a fist. He's a killer. He makes a fist.
My God. The hurt in this woman's eyes.
Thank you. I hope you enjoyed Adventures in B movies because we enjoy bringing it to you.